The stage lights of Britain's Got Talent shimmered across the hall as the next contestant walked nervously toward the microphone. His name was Mr. Daniel Harper, a 38-year-old high school music teacher from a small town in England. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, and he wasn't confident. His students had secretly signed him up for the audition after years of hearing him sing softly during their music classes. "Sir, your voice could make the world stop," one of them had once said. Daniel had laughed it off. After all, he was just a teacher. But now, standing on that vast stage, under the eyes of Simon Cowell, Amanda Holden, Alicia Dixon, and Bruno Tonioli, he felt his heart tremble. His fingers were cold, his throat dry. Simon leaned forward, squinting. "Hello there. What's your name?" Daniel Harper, sir." "And what do you do, Daniel?" Simon asked, as if he already knew the answer might surprise him. "I'm a schoolteacher," Daniel said softly, trying to steady his voice. Simon tilted his head. "A teacher. Interesting. And what are you going to do for us today?" "I'll be singing Creep by Radiohead," Daniel replied. There was a murmur from the crowd. A few raised eyebrows. Creep wasn't an easy song. It demanded vulnerability, emotion, and control, all at once. Simon leaned back in his chair and sighed. "Okay, Daniel. When you're ready." The music started. The haunting chords of Creep filled the theater, slow, tense, emotional. Daniel took a deep breath and began to sing. Musical notes, "When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye." His voice was shaky at first, trembling under the weight of thousands of watching eyes. But then, something inside him shifted. He closed his eyes, imagined his classroom, his piano, and his students who believed in him. Musical notes, "You're just like an angel, your skin makes me cry." The softness of his tone drew the audience in. Each word felt real, raw, unpolished, like a confession from a man who'd never had the courage to show the world who he truly was. But halfway through the first verse, Simon raised his hand. "Stop," he said. The music stopped. The crowd gasped. Daniel froze. His heart sank. He'd seen this moment before. Countless contestants stopped mid-performance because they weren't good enough. His knees trembled. Simon leaned forward, frowning. "Daniel, that song, it's one of my favorites. But you're holding back. You're not letting yourself feel it." Daniel blinked, confused. Simon continued, "I can hear something beautiful in your voice. But right now, it's buried under fear. I don't want you to sing this song, I want you to live it. Do you understand?" Daniel nodded, swallowing hard. His students' faces flashed in his mind, the ones who said he inspired them. Simon pointed toward the band. "Start again. From the top." The music began once more. This time, Daniel didn't think. He didn't worry about hitting every note perfectly. He just felt. Musical notes, "I don't care if it hurts, I wanna have control." His voice cracked, not from weakness, but from emotion. The crowd went silent. Every word carried the weight of years of missed chances, of dreams he'd buried under lesson plans and report cards. Musical notes, "I want a perfect body, I want a perfect soul." Tears welled in the eyes of people across the hall. A girl in the front row covered her mouth. Even Simon's face softened, his arms folded as he leaned closer, listening. By the time Daniel reached the chorus, the theater was electric. Musical notes, "But I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo." The emotion exploded like thunder. It wasn't just singing anymore, it was pain, truth, and beauty, all poured into one trembling voice. The audience erupted. When the last note faded, Daniel stood there, chest heaving, eyes glistening. The silence that followed was sacred. Then, suddenly, thunderous applause filled the room. Amanda wiped a tear. "Daniel, that was breathtaking." Bruno clapped his hands. "That wasn't a performance, that was a soul being revealed." Alicia smiled warmly. "You just reminded everyone that music isn't about perfection, it's about honesty." And Simon, the one Daniel feared the most, simply stared for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then he stood up. The crowd gasped again. Simon Cowell was standing. He pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti exploded from above, cascading like rain over Daniel's trembling figure. He covered his mouth in disbelief. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Simon walked up to the stage and said softly, "Never let anyone make you believe that you're just a teacher. You're an artist, Daniel. The world needs voices like yours." Daniel whispered, thank you so much. The audience roared as Daniel fell to his knees under the golden lights, his dream, once buried, now reborn. Months passed. The video of Daniel's audition went viral. The Teacher Who Made Simon Cry had over 60 million views. He was no longer just a schoolteacher, he was an inspiration. His students proudly said, that's our teacher. But now, it was the final night. The pressure was unimaginable. He'd been rehearsing for weeks, but this time, the song wasn't chosen for him, he wrote it himself. A song called, The Ones Who Believe. Backstage, Daniel clutched a photo of his late mother, the woman who had once told him, your voice will change lives, son. He whispered, this is for you, Mum. When his name was called, he walked onto the stage, calm, steady, transformed. Simon looked at him with quiet respect. Daniel, welcome back. How are you feeling tonight? Daniel smiled faintly, grateful, and ready. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight shone down on him. The first gentle piano notes began. Musical notes, for the ones who stay unseen, who build dreams for others to dream. The lyrics painted pictures of teachers, parents, ordinary people who gave their all without ever being noticed. The melody was pure, haunting, filled with love and longing. As the camera zoomed in, Simon's expression softened again, the same look he'd had during that first Creed performance. Daniel's voice rose, trembling but strong. Musical notes, you told me I could fly, when I didn't have wings, you showed me that hope is a quiet thing. The audience swayed, many wiping tears. When the final chorus came, the lights exploded into golden color, just like his audition. Musical notes, so here's to the ones who believe, even when we can't see. The music swelled, the orchestra joining in. It was no longer just a song, it was a message. To his mother, to his students, to every soul who had ever been told they weren't enough. The last note hung in the air, long, beautiful, breaking hearts and mending them at the same time. The hall was silent. Then, boom, the crowd erupted into a standing ovation. People screamed his name. Amanda sobbed openly. Daniel, that was one of the most emotional performances we've ever had. Alicia added, you didn't just sing, you healed. Bruno shouted, that's what the final should feel like. Simon took a deep breath. For once, he seemed almost speechless. Finally, he said quietly, Daniel, I don't cry easily. But tonight, you reminded me why I fell in love with music in the first place. You have a gift that comes once in a generation. Tears filled Daniel's eyes again. Thank you, Simon. I just wanted to make my students proud. Simon smiled. I think you just made the world proud. When the results were announced later that night, Daniel didn't care about winning. But when his name was called, the winner of Britain's Got Talent 2025, he broke down completely, falling to his knees, crying as his students rushed the stage to hug him. Golden confetti fell once more. Simon joined him on stage and whispered, you earned this, Daniel. Not because you sang perfectly, but because you sang honestly. Months after the show ended, Daniel returned to his school. But now, the classrooms were filled with posters of his performances. His students waited outside with flowers, clapping as he walked in. He smiled. All right, class. Back to music. A young girl raised her hand. Sir, can you teach us Creep? He laughed, eyes glistening. Only if you promise to feel it. And as he sat at the piano, surrounded by the very students who once believed in him, the same gentle chords filled the room. Musical notes, when you were here before. Only this time, his voice wasn't trembling. It was free. And somewhere in the heavens, his mother smiled, proud of her son, the teacher who became the voice that moved the world.